This this seat is hot. What's been going on, Joe?
Did Saturday's performance surprise you, given how you beginning to play?
Just because I took my glasses off, I didn't question your question. Yeah, it did. It did because we talked to our guys about the fact that we work really hard for just 12 opportunities, and I don't think that we came out as a team, as a defense, with the right amount of intensity. And I'm not sure that Coach Morris, if he's talked about the fact that when you're operating, you expect to continually rise, and there will be setbacks. Well, I think that Saturday was one of those setbacks. So to answer that question, no, we that was totally a surprise for us as a team. Now, there's some individuals, when you watch the video, there's some individuals who were as consistent as they always have been. But as a team, we didn't come out the way that we have. And when you look at a season, you want to get better game after game. You always hear coaches talk about the improvement from game 1 to game 2. But we're way down the line, so we got to expect that our guys would have been better than we were last week. But they're human. I'm human. I made mistakes in the game that I didn't make 2 weeks ago, and we all have to grow. We have to learn, and we definitely have to be better this next week.
You talked about the intensity. Coach Morris talked about it as well. Early in the game, after Memphis's first touchdown, Deion Green seemed really animated on the sideline. Is that what that was about, trying to get intensity out of teammates?
Yeah, well, we are an aggressive, turnover-driven, physical unit, but on the sideline, that was not poised, and we've talked about that with Deion. Now, he's a passionate player, and we appreciate passion, but that was not it.
After the game on Saturday, Coach Morris said thought it was the worst tackling performance of the year. You watched the film. Do you agree? And is there anything in specific that gave you trouble?
Well, normally when the guys were running with the ball, that gave us trouble. Yeah, we had problems with that. But yeah, it was. If you look at all of our games, that was the worst. And listen, our guys have a tremendous amount of pride, and they saw what we saw, and this was not a good performance on any level by any group. That's one good thing, is that we share the responsibility in this. Not a great performance by us as coaches, and we own every bit of it, and we are committed to being better. So no, we didn't tackle well, especially given the fact that we have video evidence of being able to do it the right way. And so our guys will come back today, and they did a great job on Sunday, and they did a great job yesterday, stopping in and going over their tips and getting themselves prepared for this week. The unfortunate thing, because they bounced back, they're resilient, but the unfortunate thing is that we wasted a day. We wasted a day. We wasted a great opportunity to advance this program.
Health-wise, how did you guys come out?
I don't think we had guys any significant injuries. I think we'll be fine. We definitely always have a guy or two. We'll have a guy or two who will not finish the game or suffer in that way. But I think as we go into this week, I think we'll be fine.
Zay Jones has 127 catches or whatever it is. What does he do that makes him particularly effective, and how do you simulate him in practice?
It'll be very difficult to simulate him in practice. He's a dynamic. I say dynamic. He's a really sure-handed receiver. You probably don't hear a lot about him, but he is definitely, like you said, he has a lot of catches, and the quarterback is doing a good job. The quarterbacks have done a good job of getting him the ball. He's definitely a focus of their offense. He's one of the top players on their team for sure, and even though we won't be able to simulate his speed and his size, we're going to know where he is, and as a staff, we are working to put together a plan, to be able to limit him throughout the game.
Does it almost help in your game plan when you know that the opponent is going to try to get it to him so many times? Do you build more things in to try to double him and lead him into extra coverage?
Well, there are things already in our system in order to keep our guys, in order to keep us focused on the things that we do. There are things already built into our system to allow us to be able to double, to be able to get hands on, things to be able to affect a receiver at any given position on the field. So we'll focus our guys in on that. Not really, like I said, not necessarily focus them in on him, because it'll be a team situation. It'll be a situation that if we put all our focus on him, that other guys will be able to take advantage of shortcomings on the defensive part, because you're trying to focus everything on that guy. But I feel like our guys will respond in such a way as to understand who is the target for East Carolina, who is the main offensive threat, and do a good job when he's on their side of the field to know where he is and understand the importance of doing your job on that particular play.
East Carolina's depth chart lists 2 quarterbacks as either or as a starter. Do you expect to see both, and how different are their styles?
They're not very different. As we've watched them, they're not very different. Last year they had one guy who was a big time passer, and then another who was a runner, and they both have abilities to be able to run the football as well as to be able to deliver it in the passing game. So we'll be prepared for both, and understand that, like I said, they both are really closely blessed guys in terms of their abilities, but we'll have to do a good job, like I said, continuing to focus on what we do, focus on the things that we have to make sure that we are better at than our last performance in terms of tackling, in terms of communication, getting ourselves lined up. That'll be important for us. And which quarterback they use will not necessarily I don't think anything will be different as you've watched the way they operate. They don't necessarily run plays designed to highlight one quarterback or another.
James Summers last year at quarterback, they were running you guys. Now that he's a running back, when you watch the film, do they do some of the same runs or same plays, even under a different staff this year for him?
They do. He's an incredible athlete. At quarterback, he was when you have teams that run the quarterback and have the ability that he was when he was at quarterback, it presents a significant challenge for the defense, because you have a guy who normally is handing the ball off. In the case of SMU, Ben is handing the ball off. Well, now you got that guy running the football with an extra blocker. So it's just like option teams, where you have to account for the quarterback with another player. And when he has the ability to be able to throw the ball, now in the pass game, that really puts pressure on your coverage guys, because now you can't, especially with a receiver like number 7, you can't double anybody. Everybody is accounted for in the run game, and in the pass game, there tends to be a situation where it's a lot of one-on-one coverage. And you can do that. You just can't do that the whole night. It's not wise to be able to or to force your guys into having to do that all night.
When you come off a performance like Saturday, when your guys didn't tackle to the standard that you want, are you tempted to have them hit and tackle more in practice than you normally would, or do the bumps and bruises that every team deals with at this time of year eliminate that option?
I can't tell you what I really want to have them do. No, seriously. No. It's easy to say that, And back when I played little league, after you lost the game, your coach lined everyone up on the field and you made you run sprints until you all passed out. Well, that's not a wise thing to do. We have adults on our defense. We have guys who understand their jobs. We have guys who understand the importance of their jobs. We have guys who understand what's at stake, and so when we don't do it the way we're supposed to do it, we can talk to them like men, and we can operate in such a way that this is not spring practice. This is not off-season winter conditioning where you go back to step one and reinstall the defense. We didn't play well. We did not focus on the task at hand. We did not focus on the fact that Memphis was a reeling team and they were coming in here with something to prove and nothing to lose. And when you have those two different mindsets, then the other team will. And it's my job, it's our staff's job to get them to understand that each and every week, each and every day, each and every practice, that they all are just as important as the games we've played. You can Coach Morris always says it. It's a nameless, faceless opponent, and you do it one way every time. Everything you do it one way. And if you don't do it that way, you have situations like last week.
Can it be easier or harder to bounce back from a lopsided loss than if this were overtime or 3 points or 6 points or something?
It's got to be the same. It's got to be the same. When you played Tulsa, we lost in that situation. When I look at the win-loss column, there's an L and there's one more number. So it's the same to us. It's the same. And when you win, there's only one win. When we played a couple weeks ago and we shocked the world and they moved the planets around for us, it's just one win. It's just one win, and you have to take them the same. You have to understand, and our guys, they're going to grow to be this way, but they have to understand that it's all the same. There's no difference. Win, lose, win by 100, lose by 2, they're all the same. The next week, that team does not care what happened last week. They want to take advantage of some things, but we have to be the same team every week, no matter what. Sometimes, especially today, because players are graced with internet, social media. Fans they have access to the world, the outside world. So there's a lot of the mental part of it that goes into it. Back in the 1800s when I played, you didn't have all this. Okay, I played in the early 1900s. You didn't have all this, so players listened to whatever the coach said. The coach was the Bible, and that's it. There was nothing ever involved. So there's a lot of counseling that goes into it. But you know what? That's our job. We affect young men. We grow, we develop young men. That's what we do. They want to know if you care about them before they know what you know. They don't care what you know. You know what I mean? It's do you care about them? So that's a significant part of it. The X's and O's, yeah, that's important too. But there's only so many X's and so many O's that go out there. But when you deal with the mental part of it, the emotional part of it, there's a lot of different guys. We call them riders and walkers and joggers and runners. Well, they're all a part of your team, and you have to be able to affect all of those guys from a mental frame. The X's and O's, they don't change. You only got 11 of them out there at a time. So as a coach, you have to balance it. And I think the greatest coaches are those who have the ability to be able to inspire your team, to be able to give them the vision, but then also they want to know that you know what you're talking about a little bit as well.
Looking at the stat sheet, obviously Zay Jones jumps off the page at you, but from a defensive coordinator standpoint, is he your primary concern about East Carolina?
Well, they have other players for sure, but he is the guy. He makes between him and the quarterback and the Summers, the running back. Those guys make it happen. And you know, when you operate defensively, your objective is to take away what they do best and to take away what they do most, and then have them operate where they're not comfortable. And so that's always the focus. And you know, without pointing our crosshairs at one guy or another, that's what we're trying to do.